Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock of the Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we have a planet of 9 billion people by 2038 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of this century, how are we going to be able to take care of all these people on planet Earth? And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. We come to you looking at the solutions, the best practices from around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet. We're making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And seeing the long-term impacts of climate change. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us.
We're looking around the globe as we grow to a population base of about 9 billion people by 2038. And quite honestly, we're almost there already. So how we're going to provide the types of quality water to the humans, the animals, the plants, even the microorganisms that we need on planet Earth to take care of each other. The Global Water Group, this is led by Alan M. Weiss, President, CEO, and Inventor, and we're talking about the nanotechnology. So we have this ideal look here that we have as far as the water is concerned, but actually we look at this map and we see these huge gray areas, bright red, orange, and then yellow. So, Alan, what are we looking at here in these maps, and what are these actually telling us about the state of water on planet Earth?
We're looking at a map that tells us there's a shortage of water in countries all over the world. And we're also looking at probably what the quality of water is that's coming out in those countries. And all over the world, we have that problem, whether we have water utilities in the Western countries, which we do, or we don't have any utility.
Yeah, this is just amazing where we're going. We're going to be talking about the nano filter. And why is the nano filter so important? We'll see this, this image again, but why is the nano filter so important?
The nano filter is going to solve the problem of our water needs for the next 50 to 100 years. As bad as the water might be today, we foresee it getting increasingly worse with the input of pharmaceutical drugs, other kinds of drugs, sludge, all kinds of contaminants, and even it might even be terrorism around the world.
But the nano filter, you believe, is actually going to be able to address all those different issues?
The nano filter, as we have designed it, will handle everything known and everything theoretical.
That's a bold statement. Now, looking at this, what are we looking at here? And this really goes back to the protocols as far as the WHO is concerned. And this is nothing new, but what are they telling us that we really haven't been doing for the last 50, 60, 70 years?
Well, the World Health Organization said that it's really very simple to purify water. We have to do three things. One, we have to remove parasites. Two, we have to remove hazardous chemicals like heavy metals, insecticides, pesticides, radon. And the third thing we have to do is kill bacteria and viruses. You do those three things, you got great water. Unfortunately, the WHO said very few municipal systems in the world do those three things. And if you don't have a municipal system, you certainly don't have any of that. So what we have to do to remove parasites is you have to filter to 1 micron. Now, you don't see anything in a glass of clear water below 22 microns. The municipal systems of the world hope they don't have parasites in their water because they're moving the water so fast that there's no way they can go down to 1 micron or you'd have a drip coming out of your faucet.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that they have to do is remove hazardous chemicals, and that's not filtration. That's what we call absorption and adsorption, and you have to use a formula of different media. Carbon is an example of media, but a formula of them in order to grab hold of all the hazardous chemicals. Now, again, the municipal systems can't do that because that takes retention time, even if they had our proprietary formula. So that doesn't happen, and they hope that nothing like that will come through the water. And if it does, they have to tell everybody, don't drink the water for 3 days while you boil the water. Other places, it always comes in. The third thing you got to do is you have to kill the bacteria and viruses, and the world uses chlorine. And the World Health Organization for 60 years has said, stop using chlorine, because chlorine in water that has not been thoroughly cleaned or purified, and they didn't do step 1 or 2, that creates carcinogens. And probably half of the world's cancer or more is caused by the chlorine in the water around the world.
Yeah, that's a very bold statement. Looking at this unit, this looks very different than the other one. Why is it so different?
It's processing more water, so it's a little bit bigger, and everything is geared to size for us until you get up to containers. So you can do 1 gallon a minute, or you could do 1 million gallons a minute. It all depends on what you need. You could do 10 million.
Now, looking at this is kind of laying it out very systematically and very carefully for us about the 3 things that we have to get rid of. So let's go through that again, because we really want to have our viewers to really understand probably what they're actually not getting out of their own faucet.
In the first housing that you see on the left, we are filtering to 1 micron to remove parasites. In the second housing, we have our formula for removal of hazardous chemicals. And in the third housing, we have an ultraviolet lamp to kill the bacteria and viruses. You put your water through that. If that's 1 gallon a minute, you're getting purified water better than anywhere in the world.
And these 2 units that we're going to be looking at now, how are they different? And are they doing the same thing?
They do exactly the same thing. These are a little bit bigger housings. They do 2 gallons a minute. In this particular unit, which we designed for Y2K when the world was going to come to an end, and you see on the top of it is a hand pump. We use hand pumps, foot pumps. We use a wind fan in order to generate power. We have battery power, or we have electric power. One way or another, we get the water through those 3 processes. The one there on the right is the filter. The next one is your hazardous chemical removal. And the third one is your ultraviolet lamp. And that's the little power box on that.
Now, we're looking at this again, the same kind of configuration, but this one actually has another added feature. What is this added feature?
Well, this one is for about 5 gallons a minute. And what you see there is a housing in the front on the left that will pre-filter out at maybe 10, 20, whatever microns we want to pre-filter, depending on the quality of the water that we've been told about. And when that fills up, gets the sand out of there, the dirt out of there more, so it doesn't clog up the rest of the system. And you change it. You can see it, you change it, wash it off, use it again. Then you go to a 5 micron, then you go to a housing to remove hazardous chemicals, and then you're back to the ultraviolet lamp. And again, you got perfect water coming out the other end.
Now, this is has a unique history to it. And also, I understand this unit and one just like it has been lasting for well over a decade.
Yes, these units came about when there was a flooding, a hurricane in Honduras. An acquaintance of mine called me up and said, I need to provide water for my friends and family in Honduras, and the government is moving quick enough. the hurricane was still there. And the moment it stops, he was flying down. So he told me the size of the door of his plane. And that's how we created that size. He put 2 of them in his plane, and he flew directly down to Honduras. He had a generator in there. We had for him and everything. And one of those is still running. I don't know, it's like 18 years later at the police station in a city in Honduras, and the other one at a hospital.
These are really, really tough units. Now, looking at these trailers, this is something that I find intriguing, because you just move these wherever you want, whether it's a stationary location or you're moving around from storm to storm or natural disaster to natural disaster. What's important about this?
Well, the most important thing is that you can move it around, and it is mobile. These particular units are a 20,000 gallon a day system, and we started with the Florida National Guard, bought a couple of these for emergency use so they could travel with it whenever they needed to go. And this was one of a group of about 5 different veterans hospitals that bought either trailers or platforms of the same unit as backup to their system if their water system failed at the hospital. So they would have always pure water going into the hospital. We gave them generators and everything to run it, and that's what they did. Still running.
Now, this is another configuration. Why is this so different?
Well, this was a combination of both water purification and reverse osmosis to pull out brackish water from drilling rigs out in West Texas. And it was a little more involved. So you have a computer control system up there mounted, and you have the entire system that will take out the salt as well as clean up the water. And it just so happens that we also put back some natural minerals into the water.
I tell you, these are very elegant looking designs. I really like these. Having these on these small trailers, what's the significance of this? This looks like they're actually even hand trucks.
Yes, that's how we designed them. On one of the little trailers, we have a desalinization system, and our military desalinization systems can run only fresh water, only salt water with everything so that they could get the drinking water, salt water, but they don't need it for drink. They use it for maintenance by pushing a different button, 1, 2, 3. And 4th is that actually it can run both a desalinization and a freshwater system simultaneously. The second trailer was a 2-trailer unit, has a generator, all the control system supplies and everything that goes with this trailer. They hook them together and that they move them wherever they wanted. We sent 35 of those to Afghanistan for the Air Force.
Absolutely amazing. And this one, I understand, this is desalinization.
Yeah, that's strictly desalinization. Those are the membranes up there on the top to take out the salt from the water. The problem when you take out desalinization, it takes out more than salt. It takes out all the minerals as well.
Okay, we're going to go right to this one. Nano filters. Why is this the path of the future? And we only have 30 seconds to do this.
Well, I decided that I was going to try and combine both the filter for the parasites, the removal of hazardous chemicals, and the killing of the bacteria and viruses in one filter using nanotechnology. And that's what that is. We have now patented that in 60 countries around the world, and we intend to be making it very shortly.
That's fantastic. Alan M. Weiss, CEO of Global Water Group. Thank you for being with us as we create the Emerald Planet.
Thank you.